It's an exciting day because I just purchased a 2015 Mercedes Sprinter, and I'm excited to start converting it into a full-time van living situation. So, all right, let's show you. You're probably wondering what led to this, and for that, we'll need to go backward just a bit. Story time. Once there was a girl who dreamed of living in a treehouse. She adored camping and fantasy novels and running around outside whenever she could. She didn't want to mold to fit into anyone's boxes. Not for her education, not for her sense of style, and certainly not for her career. As she grew older, she eventually felt pushed into some of those boxes she loathed so much. She fought for adventure where she could, but a rhythm of empty monotony threatened to crush her soul. At her lowest point, she realized that she had the freedom to make a change. Nothing was holding her back except for fear. Why not embrace the non-traditional life she wanted? A scary step, to be sure, as it would stretch her in ways she never could have imagined. But the journey itself would be part of the adventure, and she was ready to write the next chapter. It is June 2nd, 2025, and here's Berlioz. I just drove through a thunderstorm to get it home for about an hour, well, maybe a little less. It is a former FedEx truck, so it needs to be gutted, have all that shelving pulled out, and then I can start building. I'm starting this with zero building experience, and I mean zero. Like the only tool I own is a hammer, and I don't even own a screwdriver. I've used a power drill like a few times in my life, and that's it. I am gonna have to rely a lot on the internet and YouTube videos and some advice from my dad maybe. But I'm gonna be building this myself, so wish me luck. This is something that has been on my heart and mind for a really long time. I'd been eyeing school bus conversions, or schoolies as they're called, and then discovered vans. And I thought, you know what? I'm not ready for a school bus. It's a little bit too big, too much work. I'm gonna start with something a little smaller. So I looked at vans all over on Facebook Marketplace when the timing just felt right. And I found the van for me. It's a 2015 Mercedes Sprinter. It's the 170-inch wheelbase, the extended version. So it's pretty large, tall ceiling, and yeah, it's probably the biggest van that I would ever consider. I don't know if I would want to do the schoolies at this point. I think the van is a better fit for me. In case you're new here, my name is Rachel, and I normally do videos about storytelling and writing and art, but this is the start of a new adventure. I bought the van last summer and did a little bit of work on it, as you'll see in some of my videos that I start uploading, but that's now my biggest focus for 2026 is to get the van to a point where I can live in it. There's a few things coming up on the horizon that are kind of encouraging me to do this a little faster than maybe I was originally anticipating. So we'll see how that goes. I want to get it to at least to the point where I can use it a little bit this spring, this summer, and get on the road. Yes, this is a little bit different content from what I normally focus on, but like I said at the beginning, I don't really fit into neat little boxes. So if you're interested in writing and storytelling, that'll be a bonus for you. Let's talk about some of my overall goals for this project. First of all, I want to keep it pretty simple and doable. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I want to get it underway. I don't want to get lost in too many details. So one of the bigger priorities for me is keeping it simple and affordable. I don't have a ton of money to invest into this project. I'm being pretty frugal and be kind of intentional about where I put my money into the build. So I'm trying to reuse and recycle materials, kind of reclaim wood, and looking for things on Facebook Marketplace. I might go to the Habitat for Humanity reuse store and see what I can get there. Just trying to find ways to keep the costs low on materials and save the money to put into the bigger items that I want to have better quality. So things like my fridge, the solar panels, my power station. These are things that's where I'm going to be putting my money for the most part in this build. Hopefully. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, there's always unforeseen costs or materials that you didn't think you needed or tools, but that's kind of my plan for the project right now. And in terms of what I'm going to be putting into the build, I'm going to keep it all electric, so no gas, propane, any of that type of thing. I am keeping it pretty simple in terms of what I'm powering. So I'll have a fridge and lighting. I'm not going to have a shower or fancy plumbing. I will probably have a sink, but I'm not going to have any kind of fancy bathroom situation. I'll be pretty basic, rustic, you could say. And I'm okay with that. I am very comfortable camping. I've done backpacking and wilderness camping, and this will be way above that. So I'll be totally comfortable. Secondly, I'm also keeping in mind that I want to put the big rocks in first. What I mean by that is, like, when you're building a foundation, you don't start with the little tiny details. You're putting in big rocks and all the little stuff fits in between. So my priorities right now are to get it livable. I just want to be able to use it. It won't be pretty right away, probably. So I'm going to be focusing on the big rocks. Insulation, a bed, some kind of power for my fridge, things like that. And then as I get on the road, I'll have more kind of experience to know what I want where, maybe be able to adjust things as I go. But having those big rocks in place will help me kind of figure out how things will fit in between. And my goal is to kind of look at this as a trial run anyway. I'm hoping to be able to get on the road this year at some point. And all along, my intention has been give it a go for 1 full year. And after a year, I will reassess and see if there are things I want to change, if the vehicle is right for me, if the layout is right for me, if I even like this lifestyle at all. Maybe it won't be a good fit. I suspect I'll love it, but that's hard to say without giving it a good try. So I'm giving myself about a year to see how things go. And then thirdly, I want to design this van from the beginning, keeping in mind that I have a dog and a cat, and I want them to be comfortable as well. So I have a almost 3-year-old, Border Collie, German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix. Berlioz, how do you feel about this? Do you want to go for a drive? As you can imagine, he's quite the adventure dog. And he loves going camping and hiking with me. He's been on multiple trips and just loved it. He loves traveling. And then I also have a cat named Toulouse. I'm a little concerned about how well he'll adjust to living in a van because he doesn't like car rides, but I'm hoping that I can get him acclimated to living in the van. We'll see how that goes. That's another thing that'll be kind of a trial this year once I get on the road. For now, I'm trying to think of ways to make both of my animals comfortable, safe, and just make it a good experience. Now let me show you a look at my current plan for the layout. And this is very sketchy, so I'll try to explain what I have going on. It is a work in progress, and I am not a professional, so don't take any of this as a recommendation for how you should build your van, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I fully admit that. This is a top-down view. Again, it's not entirely to scale. It's sort of rough. But as you can see here in the back, I have my bed. It's a full-size, potentially queen, depending on how things fit. And I want it to be pretty high off the ground because I want to fit my bicycle underneath. Right now, my priorities for the back here are putting my bike in here and then a dog kennel. And those are kind of the priorities for going under the bed. And then there's some storage area in the garage underneath the bed. It's a fixed bed. I don't want to deal with having to convert my bed every night. And then above on this side, I'm putting some overhead cabinets for clothes and things like that. Moving forward, on this side, I'm going to have a closet, and it's probably going to go all the way up from floor to ceiling, because I'm also planning to keep my power station in there. That'll be also some hanging clothes storage as well. And then I have a lot of books. I'm going to have to put a lot of them in storage, but I do want to have space for some of my books to come with me. So I'm putting in a bookshelf probably either on this side or this side of the closet. I have already bought the fridge, so it's a pretty large one. I don't know exactly how many liters off the top of my head, but it's going to be either here or over here. And this is kind of my kitchen area. So one of these sections will be the sink and one will be the fridge, freezer, and that'll probably pull out so that I can access it. It's the kind that's like a chest, so it's going to need some space. On the other side, I will have a bench here. I'm not sure exactly how big it will be yet, but that is where I'll store my kind of compost toilet situation. I'm not going to have any fancy toilets starting out. It'll be pretty basic, but just want to have an option there for emergencies. I will have either a sit-stand desk or just a fixed raised desk because I like to stand while I work if I can. The closet I'll figure out first, and then this section will get figured out later. In the van, you'll see in some of the videos, there was originally a partition here, and I've removed half of it. Like, I've removed most of it. So all that's left is like this section, which is what the passenger jump seat is mounted to. And then I'll have a litter box probably in the front. It could potentially be in another spot, but that's one area where I'll have the litter box for the cat. I've also started kind of figuring out how that'll look from the different angles. So this is the same thing. It's just looking to the driver's side of the vehicle. So like I said, I have a raised table or desk, have a bench here, the toilet underneath. I have windows put in that you'll see in an upcoming video how I did that. I have bunk windows on each side, and those are the only windows that I'm planning to put in. So electrical will be in there, hanging clothes storage will be in there, and then the other side, this again may change quite a bit depending on how the kitchen falls into place. That is a very rough overview of the plan. It may not look anything like this, but a few things have been kind of figured out in terms of the windows. Those are already in, and my plan for the bed is pretty set. But other than that, things may shift around as I figure out what works and what doesn't. The first step was stripping the van down to a blank canvas by removing the shelving, wall panels, and flooring. Spoiler alert, this ended up taking most of the summer due to my lack of experience and tools, but I chipped away at it after work when I could. Removing the shelves and walls paved the way for the first exciting step. Cutting a hole in the van, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That will be in the next video, so subscribe if you'd like to follow along with my progress and my mistakes along the way. Until next time, I'll be here building my little treehouse on wheels.